did my art studio tour 2 weeks ago, I came across a lot of art supplies that I have been neglecting for a long time. I thought it was time to try and use one of these supplies again. I will be starting with the Royal Talens opaque watercolors. Let's see what I think about them now. So the reason I think I have been neglecting this one so long is because when I bought this, and this was already a couple of years ago, I really wasn't good at painting yet. I didn't know how everything worked. I hadn't practiced as much as I have now. I didn't know a lot about color mixing, and I didn't really like the colors like you see them here. Well, I like the rainbowy feel of it, but I don't like to use these colors as they are. And I think I may have expected it to look like gouache from a tube. Now that I'm painting with it again, I think it's actually quite nice. You do get the watercolor gouache look, not the painty gouache look. How am I explaining this? Let me try and explain that a little bit better. If you're using gouache from tubes, you can use it more like an oil paint. It's very creamy consistency. You can go thicker layer over thinner layers. And with this set, I would really just recommend using it as an opaque watercolor, which is not coincidentally the name of this product on the box. So I guess it was really my mistake for thinking I could make it look like gouache from a tube back then. But as I said, I just wasn't really experienced yet. I didn't paint like I do now. I have practiced a lot over the years. And I guess maybe some bad reviews you read about art supplies isn't really the fault of the art supply, but maybe the expectation you have of it. This is of course not true for every bad review you read. There are actually a lot of bad art supplies out there, but I think some of them. I also saw some watercolor pencils in my drawers, and I know I hate those, but maybe it's just because I'm not using them right. So I think maybe I will try that for the next video. I'm not sure yet because there are a lot of art supplies I haven't been using in a while. But let's talk about these paints for some more. So what I like about this is that you can just start. I think one of the reasons I don't regularly use gouache is because I have to get the tubes out and I have to choose the colors I will use. I realize I sound like a bit of a lazy artist. It might be because I'm in my head a lot of the times, and when I overthink my painting, I will just not start. So even the thought that I have to prepare the stuff before the painting, sometimes it makes me not want to paint. I also like that when I paint with this gouache, it does not have the granulating effect sometimes watercolors do. Especially my Daniel Smith watercolors, I really love them and I love the colors, but I don't really like the granulating effect and I wish it wasn't in those paints. I will show you a little example right now if you don't know what that means. So you see right here it looks a little speckly and you have a lot of dots. I guess for some paintings that looks really nice, but I don't really enjoy it for the paintings I do. I also like that I don't have to layer as much because of course this paint is more opaque right away. I guess in like 3 or 4 layers this is a finished piece, and with watercolors or with transparent watercolors that takes a little longer most of the time. I do feel that the first layer tends to lift a little bit easier when I put a second layer on. This also happens with watercolor, but I think it happens a little bit more with this paint. I will have to try it on one of my 100% cotton papers because most of the time the paper is also to blame. This paper is nice and I do like to use it, but it does make it harder to put on a second layer without lifting the first. So I don't really know if this is the gouache fault or just my fault for choosing this paper. So I'm still using my Staedtler Mars lumograph black pencil in 8B to do the eyes, because I don't even try to do that with watercolor or with gouache anymore. It's just so much easier for such tiny spots to do it with the pencil. And also I use the Faber-castell colored pencils for the ears and the mouth and the eyebrows a little bit. So for the rest of this video I will be finishing this piece. Overall I think this is actually very nice paint and I think I will be using it more. I will probably use it on my 100% cotton paper just because it works a little better. But for the more simple illustrations like these, I will definitely use this paper again too, because it worked out pretty nice as well. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Maybe you're even a little inspired to get some of your old art supplies out of that drawer. Let me know in the comments and I'll see you in the next one.